What's up, guys? This is your guy, BlackOni, with another podcast. I have two special guests today. If you don't know, these are two of my homeboys. They the real ones, aka go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hey, this is your boy, the Immortal Afro of the Immortal Afro YouTube channel. Mr. BlackOni, thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, no problem. All right, my next boy, he comes to y'all from the far. Where you come from again, man? You know, just go ahead and let us know.
The far away kingdom of the hyperbolic time chamber. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, the hyperbolic time chamber. All right, go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, you know, we live and direct once again. It's Kuroki Samurai. Thank you, BlackOni, for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Oh man, no problem. That's what we are here for. I hope that you guys who are listening, that you are entertained with a lot of the crazy questions I'm about to ask to both of these fellas. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So, Kuroki and Immortal.
Yes, sir.
Starting off, for the people who don't know already, what got you guys wanting to do YouTube videos? All right, I'm gonna say it like this because I don't want nobody to get confused. Starting with you, Kuroki, what got you into doing YouTube videos?
Well, really, it started as just something goofy that I wanted to do in my spare time. I've been like really back and forth with work and family life and stuff, and one day I took the time out of my day around my birthday to put out a video of that Soul Calibur, and it really took off from there. And I started ranting, and I started noticing I had a lot of fun with it, and little by little I put out little clips, you know, spoofs. I was really interested in making short 30-second, 45-second clips of stupid shit, and it turned out well. A lot of people enjoyed it, so.
Awesome. Same thing for you, Immortal.
Just mostly a mix of seeing a lot of content creators at the time, and thinking like, I wonder if I can do that, and decided to give it a shot. Had to learn the ins and outs of video editing, but over time, a lot of my close friends, they did some things involving video editing, some YouTube videos, some music. And I just wanted to get a piece of that, man. I was kind of tired of being the audience. I wanted to do some entertaining and get an audience. And it just kind of took off from there.
Okay. See, that's what's up, man. I like to hear both of those stories, man. Both of those sides. All right, starting off with the next question. And I'm going to let Kuroki start this off. What is your favorite game, and what is the most hated game?
Oh shit!
I told you we weren't gonna be ready.
My most hated game.
Well, first your most loved game, and then your most hated game, and the reason why it's your most hated game.
Let's see. My most favorite game, I'd have to say at the start of my true enjoyment, it'll have to be between two games right now. Metal Gear Solid, the first one, or I'm gonna have to go with Halo. Halo was something that really set the bar in my mind for what I really enjoyed about gaming, and ever since then I've been a Halo fan. At least up until Halo 3. And Halo Reach, maybe ODST, but when they started doing Halo 4 and 5, I was like, nah. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah, so Metal Gear Solid? Just kind of curious, how did that happen?
Well, what happens is, I go and hang with my uncle, and, he was really big into the PS1 era of gaming. He had Resident Evil and stuff like that. But among all of them, he had the Metal Gear Solid case. It was a double disc. And I got curious one day. I was hanging with him, popped the disc into the PS1, and I got hooked. Especially when I got to the Gray Fox part of the game, and the hallway is just massacre everywhere, just blood splatters. And of course, Otacon starts pissing himself in the locker, and it cracked me up growing up. So. I went back and played it at least 30 times.
I can definitely see that. Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. Same question for you, Immortal.
All right. Well, let me hear it again just to make absolutely sure, because I want to.
All right, your most favorite game and the game that you hate, man, and the reason why.
All right, most favorite game. Kind of want to pick something artsy, but it's kind of hard to say favorite, so I'll pick one of my favorites, and it's one that I don't really play that often. But Panzer Dragoon Order. It's one of my favorite games, man, because it's like it's one of those. I feel like it's a mixture. It's like one of those chill games, but it's also one of those, very intense, but it's very somber. It's very beautiful. Main character Orta, very, very beautiful girl. Got their own unique language in there. And then of course dragons for days. And you got a dragon that can transform and stuff. Like it's a real treat of a game. So probably say it's one of my favorites. I ain't gonna say it's my favorite because there's plenty, but that one sticks out. It kind of holds a place in my heart. Game I fucking hate. Wait, we're allowed to curse on the stream, right?
Yeah, dude. You say whatever the fuck you want.
All right, just making sure now. I don't want to be, little kids over here, man. But
oh well, my channel don't have little kids, man. I use YouTube for that. If they pop on here, that's their fault. Go ahead. So go ahead.
All right. I can't remember the name of it's a fucking Silent Hills game, and it's on the Wii. Jesus Christ, I have never had such a terrible experience playing the game, dude. Like, I think it was Shattered Memories, Silent Hill Shattered Memories, and it had this
you're right.
ugly as fuck gimmicky control scheme. I swear, man, that was the worst. And the thing is, man, I was playing it with a friend, and she was cool. She was going through some stuff. I'm like, man, I don't want to be a little asshole, and she's enjoying watching. So I'm not gonna be a dick and say fuck that. We ain't playing that. So I suffered through it, just trying to make sure, she was cool. And man, it's one of those games that you ever had one of those developed headaches? Yes. The ones that you're fine starting out, but over time it's just like, man, I'm doing something I really don't enjoy, and now my body's making me pay for it.
You're right, though. It is Shattered Memories, by the way.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's definitely Shattered Memories.
Yeah, dude, that game is fucking terrible. Bad. The most annoying control scheme I've ever. Whoo, boy.
They re-came out with it for the PS2, believe it or not.
It did come out on PS2. They must have ported it to the Wii.
Yeah, they ported. Yeah, because originally it came out on the PlayStation 2. It was ported over. If I'm not mistaken, it's also on PC as well. So, yeah. Hey, but it is apparently on eBay. People are selling it for roughly about $35.99. So, hey.
Well, good for them. And, the world has masochists. What can you do? I'm not about to fuck that game. I have no quarrel with the people who play it, but nah, bro.
If I had to say my most hated game, it would have to be because my mom had bought me this game one time. And I really wanted to like it because it's like tactical espionage. You would think, a game about spies and stuff would be interesting. Like Splinter Cell, Splinter Cell's amazing to me. So that's what I was thinking going into it. But when I played it, the game's called Alpha Protocol. I don't know if y'all ever heard of that.
Oh God, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh.
But I wanted to throw the disc like a frisbee out my fucking window.
I understand. I definitely understand that.
Game is so clunky, man. Like the gun controls, the covers, everything about it just was wrong. I don't know who thought that was good to send out, but they need to be fired if they're not fired already.
Hopefully they never go back into gaming showbiz ever again. No, I definitely know what you're talking about, and I feel your pain on that. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
It's worse than Dark Sector, man. And I really didn't really like Dark Sector like that, even though I played Warframe. You know, Warframe was the baby of Dark Sector.
Oh yeah.
And Dark Sector is bad. I mean, gameplay wise, it's horrible, but nowhere near as bad as Alpha Protocol.
Yeah, you know, like the thing was, you could not play that game. I think if you didn't have a 6X controller, if you got a dual shot controller, you could not play that game at all. Maybe I'm saying that backwards.
I went back and tried it out again when they had the PS Now service.
Oh man,
not good.
Not good at all. I want to say I own that game, but I'm not proud of owning it. But also I'm a collector, so why not? You know, like you know, you gotta have some bad ones in those good ones.
It just happens that way, you know.
Yeah, like it was. It had the plot of it could have been better. The storyline wise, it left way too many question gaps in it. But the one thing I actually laughed about, because I tried to play the game, definitely the online when they had that. But you know, if you actually paid attention to that, a lot of the online modes were rips of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare map when they did that. So I thought that was kind of funny and hilarious, because I could have sworn that they were not the same company, owned by the same company. And hey, but shit, they had Call of Duty maps on there, so that was something.
It was super clunky, that's for sure.
Yeah, it had plenty of issues. But starting off with that, how do you guys feel? And I'm gonna say this towards Kuroki first, and then I'm going to get Immortal's input. How do you feel about the gaming politics today, with a lot of kind of weird tactics that games have now that they wouldn't even imagine having 10 years ago? And I'm trying to come up with a great example of what I'm trying to say when what I mean by that. Like mostly games having, you know, DLC servers and stuff. I know me and Immortal have argued about this at one time. But yeah, like, you know, instead of games, you do you don't really own that game. You kind of own the idea of just of playing that game for the time it exists.
Unless you got a physical disc, then it's a little different.
No. I mean, like this, even having the physical disc, the game is still on a server.
Online servers, it's always online, yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like it's extremely forced a lot of the time, especially online services. I've played Anthem, and I played a few other games like that, like Destiny 2, for instance. And it's like even GTA 5, you know, like you try to play on a private server with friends, and the minute you try to start up something, it tries to shift you over into a group of people you don't want to play with. So like that being mandatory, and no matter what you do, you're always forced into that. It gets really annoying, and it pushes me away from playing the game. Whereas DLC, DLC and season passes, I feel like has always been extremely forced since its inception. You know, there are a few exceptions where DLC is actually implemented in a good way, and it expands on what you had in the game to begin with. But for the most part, every game now has a deluxe edition with a season pass. And it doesn't feel necessary for every game to do that, but they do it anyway. And that really just shows like the market is overly saturated with that and microtransactions on top of your season passes. So not only are you paying, you know, $100 for a game now, but in order to get all the little extra things that you want out of it, that's another $20 here. Oh, you want that? That's another 15, 20, you know, whatever. And after a while, you know, you stop really enjoying modern day gaming. It makes you want to go back and play the older games, because at least when you turn those on, you don't have none of that shit.
Right.
You know?
Okay. I definitely understand that. Immortal?
I'm kind of. I want to make sure I am being fair.
Take your time, man. Yo, I'm gonna tell you right now, fuck fair, man. Speak how you feel.
It's a little bit of both, you know. There's a place for it. So it mainly comes down to if it's done properly, because you know, a lot of times, we get the example of games, just fucking it up to where it seems like it's just a bad idea all around and nobody wants any part of it.
Right.
But at the same time, there's plenty to be appreciative of if it's good.
Right.
I was like, let's look at Mortal Kombat Aftermath, for example. Not the base game. Base game is trash, but let's just sidestep that right quick. But the way I look at it, because I was talking to Tyrell earlier about it, I was like, I feel like this game would be totally worth it because I heard the DLC is $40, and some people are like, man, fuck all that. That's too much. Like the game I bought it was $60, and now you talking about $40. And my thing is like, I feel like once it comes out and we get a good look at the the content that they add, because they said there's gonna be 3 characters and the new stage fatalities and friendships. I'm like, okay, that seems pretty sizable by itself, but then there's an extension to the story.
Right. And I'm actually kind of looking forward to the story part more than anything. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I jumped in too early. Go ahead.
No, you good. Because that's to me, I feel like depending on how this game or the extension turns out will determine whether or not it's worth it. Because on the surface, it looks, to me, on the surface, it's just based off of what I'm looking at. It looks worth it. It looks pretty nice. I mean, you got a story extension, voice acted, and shot like a movie. Because the Mortal Kombat games are the movies we never got.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that in itself is really good. So I'm expecting that to just look good anyway. Because I done caught myself watching the Mortal Kombat 11, story cutscenes a lot because it's really well done. So I have high hopes for the Aftermath expansion. But as far as it be worth $40, I think depending on the length of that campaign is really gonna be what decides it.
I totally agree with that too.
Yeah, so I mean, this could either be done well or terribly, and I think we kind of have to wait and see to get a good idea of how it might go, because it could. I really believe it could go either way.
I gotta say though, this would be the first time in the history of fighting games that we actually have an expansion to the story arc.
You know what? I definitely have to agree with you. I haven't of my personal experience being on this world as long as I've been here, I have not seen that either. And I know that was one thing that I was kind of tripping about. 'Cause when I heard about it, I just thought it was like, okay, well, it's DLC. That's what they're calling the the new season 2 pack. That's what I assumed.
Combat pack,
yeah, and I was very, very wrong. But more than that, did you guys see on Twitter, Ed Boon said that the stages and the fatalities are free.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Friendships, fatalities, and stages will all be free on the 26th.
And I appreciate him for that.
Yeah.
But my biggest question is too, am I gonna have to go through the fucking crypt to get those fatalities?
Oh, no, from what we understand. No, the stage fatalities are part of the stages. So.
Oh, no. That makes sense. That makes sense. Oh,
and the friendships are unlocked from the get-go, from what I understand, too.
Okay, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Well, I'm gonna say this because I always get suspicious when I hear the word free, because that's why I kind of lump it in together as all being like
You're paying for the characters in the story, but the update itself will be an update for anybody who owns MK11. That's basically what it means. Like, it's gonna update, and the roster is gonna have its new squares, but the new stages are already gonna be applied once you download the update that date.
Yeah, but I kind of now that I think about it, that might be the in their eyes, that might be the justification for the $40, because at first I thought all that stuff was together. I didn't know that it was that part was free, and then I guess now I kind of understand why people are like, yeah, man, that's kind of a ripoff. Because if all I'm getting is these 3 characters and however much of the story is going to be there, what if it ain't shit?
I understand. Everybody's got to be skeptical about today's gaming industry. It really has taken a turn for the worse, but hopefully, NetherRealm can really just show that they're genuinely trying to put out a piece of content that innovates in a way we've never seen in fighting games, one, and two, make it fun for the players, so.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It just depends on like how they go about it, because we've seen plenty of examples of them not doing that, namely the launch period for the game. But it's not just that game. There's Fallout 76, and people are really extremely cautious of that. It's like, oh yeah, anytime they look up or sneeze, you're gonna be like, what y'all trying to do? Who y'all trying to rip me off?
Yeah, because I like, but I would say this with like Bethesda. Yeah, that's what I call them, Bethesda. Yeah, like they did a lot of schemey type things like that I did not agree with all the way around, like coming out with that, like the merch, not just the game but the merch that came out with it, I thought was bullshit. Like a game that I have to be on the server all the time when it first came out, I did not like that.
I'm used to Fallout games being something I could just take offline and
exactly
enjoy at my own leisure.
Like you play it for the adventure. Now that's a cool concept, but that should be an online matter, not part of the other thing I had was this doesn't talk about, like, the one problem I had was it did not stick to the original story at all. This kind of goes its own way. It's like, oh well, this is the people before, after the whole thing, settling back into the world. And I didn't agree with that because, the Unclade had a huge part to Fallout, but yet we didn't hear anything about them. Like they weren't even part of the major storyline.
Well, from what I understand, Fallout 76 is actually taking place before everything really went down. This was actually one of the first vaults to open.
But the big problem with that is the Unclade was still there before all of that. They were
right.
They didn't go into votes. They had a place that they were already hiding and stuff like that. They were behind clones and cloning and all of that stuff. A majority of the self experiments in different vaults. They were the main villains, so they should have popped up originally, because in the original ones they were known for the massacre of a lot of different things in the original series. Even though it was like one of those kind of turn-based type games and it was overhead, it was still one of those things that, okay, if you're gonna do something like this, you have to bring them in to explain a part, but in which never happened either. We got ghouls and all of that, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not get the game for so many reasons. As soon as I heard it was a main online game, I was like, nope. Like, I'd rather play Fallout 4. I understand how clunky that is, and I accept it. Okay, like you gotta think. I was a huge Fallout fan when it came out. When it came to the Fallout series, I went back, bought the old one. Not just that, but I own the Pit-Boy for the Game of the Year version that came out. Like I was hyped. I always wanted a fucking Pit-Boy. Why not? But when they also, not just with the game tactics that they did, but the merch that they released out as well. The shitty products that came after that, the outfits, the leather jacket that was supposed to be leather, found out it was really pleather. And if water settles in on that bitch one time, it dissolves. Come on, man. You can't do stuff like that. The alcohol beverage they came out with, instead of it being in a glass can, it's in a fucking rubber slip in, case for it, instead of looking like a Nuka-Cola. It was a lot of bad choices. They took the cheap route on some things, and it did not pay off for them. And and another problem that I have with it too is they pander to anybody who wants spotlight through Fallout. So it's just like, oh, I'm a cam girl or a person who wants pictures and stuff like that. I do my photos. Oh, I can get my stuff. I can get my face on their main Twitter page and stuff like that. That I'm talking about that. Unless I'm thirsty as fuck, that's not gonna work, and I'm not thirsty, so I don't need that shit, but that's just something I'm continuously seeing, as time goes on, and it's tiresome. It's damaging to the gaming community as a whole when I keep seeing things like that. That's what makes it harder for me to trust them with, the next Elder Scrolls that they come out with, and all of, like, with anything else they come out with. I'm gonna have to ask that question.
Yeah, you start to regret your decision for even buying it. You kind of call yourself an idiot for even thinking this was going to be good after a while. And then at a point, you just stop buying new games, period.
Exactly. You kind of have to wait a second, until when the game comes out and be like, okay, everybody is on it. Let me watch some gameplay. And you kind of ruin the game for yourself when you do that sometimes. But I'd rather be safe than sorry in those situations. Like that's kind of how it goes. But whew, man, dang, that was a lot. That was a lot to get off my chest there. And damn, I'm supposed to be fucking interviewing you guys. God damn. Okay. But overall, like, yeah. But overall, like, my whole entire point of view is, like, when it comes to certain games, it's kind of best to stay back, wait about a week or so. I understand that, it's vital for them in the first week, to get their counts up of, about the game and get the numbers.
Our fucking problem. Because if they really valued it that much, I think it would show in the game's quality, upon release, not, later.
Yeah, through updates and stuff like that.
Yeah, because that's what I remember that Todd Howard interview. Yeah, I think it was on IGN, and he was like, "Yeah, we're all about waiting until doing it later, man. We don't need to do it right now." And so I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, "Bruh, that's what this is all about." That's kind of fake and gay, if I'm gonna be honest.
But okay, so. All right, we're gonna go ahead and pass this subject, but I definitely agree with both of you guys. How do you feel about the new systems?
I ain't getting it.
I'm gonna say this: those new systems will be of worth 1, maybe 2 years from now, because every new generation they do this shit. All the hype. The hype barely involves games and always revolves around like, oh man, look at it's gonna look cool. It sounds cool. It's a new console, new system,
right?
And I'm gonna make a video about this later because this is something that I think is just it's really important to note. But my thing has always been like, the best console generation I think that was worth being hyped for was 6th gen. Because it's like just think back. 6th gen, we had the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and the GameCube, right?
Oh yeah.
And so just be honest with me. When you got one system, like hardly anyone ever got all three, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So I'm thinking like I'm pretty sure this was the case for others. It was for me for sure, but I got the Xbox.
I remember.
Yeah. And there were plenty of times where I was just thinking to myself, holy shit, I'm glad I got the Xbox, but I fucking wish I got a goddamn one or the other. Because coming out, swinging out the gate, those consoles had some games that everybody wanted. I don't care how much of a fanboy you thought you were. Like, oh yeah, man, my PlayStation 2 is awesome. Like, yeah, but do you have Resident Evil 4? No. Do you have Halo? No. Like, oh, get the fuck out of here, bro. And if you had an Xbox, it's like, oh man, Xbox is the best box. You got Kingdom Hearts? No. You got San Andreas? You got Smash Bros. Melee? Nope.
And I'm talking I definitely agree with you on that. Like, I didn't have all of them at once or, bought them one after the other. It was like years after I think I first got my first Xbox. And it was, I already had the GameCube and the PS2. And I had those, like, the GameCube was the first system I had at that time. And it was later I got, the PlayStation 2. But I fucking love the games that I had got because I couldn't get them on that system. You couldn't get, and then once again, I'm gonna bring this shit up. You couldn't get Onimushu, Dawn of Dreams, Warlord. You couldn't get those games on any other system. You could get Warlord on the 360, but you couldn't get the second one. I don't know what was up with that. They just went to, Sony after that. But it was just fucking amazing to like play that type of game on there and then hop to the Xbox and, like they had a great horror selection. I'm not gonna lie, like when it came to Fatal Frame, oh man, I was all over that shit. But like that's the same thing that goes for Sony as well. They had Kunyong, in which is a fucking rare ass game right now. A lot of people don't know about that game, but it was just as scary as Fatal Frame. You had that was on both systems, but one played better. I like the PlayStation 2 version better of The Suffering. Like it was just you had to have different consoles to get different experiences of all types, games of the walk of life of all type of games. Like that's really what it came down to. So I was happy to have them when I had them, but at the same time, it was one of those experiences you had to play every single one of those. I had to at least have a friend who had one or the other, and you'd be like, damn, I kind of wish I had an Xbox now, or damn, I kind of wish I had a PlayStation 2, or damn, Smash Bros is looking pretty good on, GameCube, like that's kind of how it was. I definitely agree with you when it comes to that. What
like, I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to add this little tidbit.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just thought it was important to like kind of point out because like the difference between that generation and then this generation and the one previous, like the one coming up, the current generation, between these two and that 6th gen, a lot of these games they kind of streamlined and they're a little boring. Not counting Nintendo, because Nintendo they're pretty good at maintaining that momentum, I think. But as far as like PlayStation and the Xbox go, they've kind of become very samey in the sense of that, because the thing that always kind of bothered me when it came to these consoles is how Nintendo is the one that's always, and how do I put it? Nintendo has no problem trying out different things and flat out failing or looking like a dumbass, but at least they do it, and the payoff is always, grand. Whereas Xbox and PlayStation, they try some stuff that's either super safe or super stupid, like the Xbox One with the whole DRM always online thing, or the PlayStation Sony. Now they're going through this whole thing where they're trying to censor games because they worried about children. And I'm like, Nintendo, what? That doesn't even make any sense.
And like Nintendo staying in their lane, but still coming out with really good content. Like I can't say shit on that. Like I totally agree with you. Like at the end of the day, like I say this with like PlayStation, Sony and Microsoft when it comes to Xbox and PlayStation. They are becoming more similar. The only difference is right now that PlayStation still has originals, but who's to say that won't change either, where I won't need neither one of those going over to, I could play probably all of it on Steam in a few years type thing. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but if it does, shit, I get to save money in the long run. I won't need the system.
Yeah, it just gets kind of hard to, gauge at that point. It's like, man, does it even matter? Like the only console, like for now, for the current generation, it's like the only consoles you really need to get everything is like, PS4 and Switch.
Yeah.
And if you just want to get everything, just get that Switch and a PC. Like it used to be, you kind of have a certain combination of consoles that you wanted to get the main juice. And now it's like, man, if you get a PC, you pretty much have like 80% of the game market, because now everything on Xbox is on PC. And if you're not a Nintendo, you get everything on the PS4. So it's like, damn, I got everything. And now Horizon coming to PC, it's like, man, am I going to be saying the same thing about Sony? No
competition anymore. That's the problem. Consoles stopped being competitive a long time ago. After the 360 and PS3 era, people were incentivized back then to buy both systems because they knew, like, both systems had badass games you weren't gonna play on the other system. Now Xbox is like, oh yeah, let's port Halo Master Chief Collection. Let's port Killer Instinct. I wanted to buy an Xbox back in the day because of Killer Instinct, but because they moved it over to PC, I don't feel the need to do that anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember when Killer Instinct came out on, the Xbox One, and I was like, oh shit, yo, that's Killer Instinct. I remember. I still have my copy. Once again, collector. I still have my copy on Super Nintendo, and just thinking of that and thinking of Killer Instinct Gold that was on 64, and I was just flipping the fuck out. But like, I know it was one thing I really did not like about the Killer Instinct when it came, the newer Killer Instinct when it came out. I liked it on PC, but I did not like it when it came out on the Xbox, basically because you didn't start off with all the characters. You had to buy the characters, and then I didn't understand why they came out with a physical disc for season. I think the first season characters. But you had to still pay for the second season. And mind you, the disc came out literally when they got done with all of that. So it didn't make sense to me. It was still kind of like, shit, okay. I got it as a gift, shout out to my boy, the Immortal Afro for hooking the nigga up. Anyway, but still at the end of the day, it was kind of like, I didn't like that tactic they did. And people will say, well, I blame Microsoft, but at the end of the day, the company still has a say of how they should, how they're going to be able to run that game. That's the same thing with Star Wars Battlefront. We all know about the one that came out on PS4 and the first one that came out on PS4 and Xbox One. Like, that shit was not good.
Yep, it looked pretty, and everybody was like, "Wow, it looks great," but where's the game? And why is the season pass cost just as much as the game? Damn near.
And then not just that, but we had fucking loot boxes that you still had to pay for in certain situations. Some of them we had free ones, but those free ones didn't do shit, man. And then it was like, oh, you can play the game for almost over 1,000 hours each to unlock characters. You got to think of how long 1,000 hours is in a game that you got to constantly keep playing over and over, and then play online mode over and over, and you don't even have a majority of the characters. Like you're locked out. So it's kind of like one of those things that was more damaging to them and stuff. And I remember they're like, oh shit, let's sell this game that was once $60. Let's drop it down to $20. And that was in
right now, good deal.
Yeah, you like, oh man, that's good. But you're still dealing with the same shit though. And then it defeated the purpose, like even putting that game out in the first place if you was gonna do that. But to each his own, I know some folks, they may like the game, fuck them, but still it's to each his own, like I'm not gonna judge, even though I just said fuck them, still it is what it is. But
yeah. It's true though, because it's like, stuff happens, most people, the reason why it keeps happening is because, most normal or normie players, people who they game, but in such a casual manner that they don't notice, care for, or see why things are bad or how it could get worse, because eventually it'll get so bad that even the people who play casual will be like, what the fuck is this? And, you're out here trying to like prevent it so it won't get to that point. And you're going against the shithead developers, publishers who are doing dumb shit, and then you're going against the people who just like, I just want to play my game, bro. Like, ain't gonna be no game unless you pay attention to what the fuck's going on. Like, god damn, you piss me off sometimes. But I mean, that's the nature of the beast.
Shit, I still get comments about MK11 talking about just play the game, dude. I'm like, nigga, it's 9 months later and you now commenting on this, telling me to play the game? I've been playing the game. What you talking about?
Yeah, they just be on some crybaby ass shit. I'm like, I'm trying to be positive, trying to be understanding, but boy, these motherfuckers, I tell you.
Speaking of these motherfuckers, man. All right. What is the worst? I'm gonna say this. What is it about YouTube, what is the most thing you dislike about YouTube? You know, and I'm
bro,
sorry, it can be.
I'm going second. That's all I'm saying. I'm going second.
Let him go first, yeah.
Okay, all right, go ahead. I'll go ahead.
Oh yeah, Kuroki.
Oh, you want me to go first then?
Oh yeah, go.
Yeah, I'm going second because like I'm going to be here a minute. So.
Yeah, we could be here till tomorrow doing this shit. Okay, so I gotta say the one thing that really irritate me a lot is you can have like 10 seconds of something, right? A sound or whatever, and automatically the minute you post it, it's like, all right, now I'm gonna fucking take all your money away from you. Now I'm gonna demonetize you for this and that and the other thing. This money belongs to whoever made that sound. Okay, but why did you demonetize the whole video and not just that part of the video? You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to come up with a solution for that, because the whole 10 minutes of my video is mine, and then 10 seconds or 15 seconds of a clip that I put at the end is gonna demonetize the whole video now. And on top of that, they got this age restricting shit, which makes your videos not show up on people's feeds anymore. It keeps getting more complicated with this COPPA situation, because if you don't age restrict your videos, you are subject to being removed from the platform entirely if you don't. It just feels like everything is constantly being bombarded on the creators, and that's why people are asking for donations in their PayPals and their Streamlabs and all these other different sites, stuff like that, because they're not getting paid on YouTube no more. That's why people stop streaming on YouTube, because it's not really helping them in the process. They feel like they're wasting their time, and even now it feels like that now. But that's my short. You know, I don't want to keep him waiting. You know, I know he's got a lot built up right now, so I'm gonna let you fire off your machine gun fire.
I felt that energy when he said that.
Hell yeah, I felt it too. It felt like a machine gun. He popped the clip in there and everything. Get ready to go.
Man, all right. First off, I'm gonna start. Fuck you, Susan Wojcicki. Eat a dick. you fucking Queen Karen motherfucker. All right, now that I got that out the way. Here's the thing, man. Like, the reason why I'm kind of like on and off with YouTube, because most of it is that, you know, I'm lazy, or I get caught up, you know, at work, because, you know, we're working at a job that requires me to be very, you know, it's a physically challenging job. And then my excuse is like, oh man, I'm tired, I don't feel like shooting a YouTube video. But, you know, that's not really a good excuse. But another part of it is that, you know, YouTube is just, every day it's something, man. Like, every time I see an article about a new implementation that's going into the site, and I'm just like, I can't roll my eyes any further to the back of my head, man. Like, I just can't do it. You know, it's physically impossible. Like, the latest thing, they were talking about how what do they call it, authoritative channels are being propped up, even though the majority of users on this fucking site don't like looking at that shit. And I'm just like, why are they being propped up if nobody likes to watch it? Like, well, it's because YouTube has turned into this politically biased what do you call it, you know, tech company, you know, Google, good old Google. And it's just, everything has to be the same, you know. Everything's turning into fucking communist shit play. Not to bring politics into it, but it's kind of hard not to, when you see how hard they be slamming on people. Like, oh, what's that? You want to be an individual? Well, you want to use YouTube? You thought YouTube stood for the U? No, bro. No, it's actually our tube, and we just let you use it until you do something we don't like, and we'll shadow ban you. We'll demonetize your videos. Every time you try to do something to, you know, exist, you know, just be here and just be a happy user, we're just gonna make it hard for you. And I'm like, unless you bend over and, you know, suck our flaccid penises, you can't do it. And it's annoying, man. That's why, you know, good alternatives like BitChute and Library are around, because like the collapse of YouTube is coming. It like, and a good way to see it coming a mile away. If you guys ever get a chance, you know, anyone listening, watching, or whatever, look up Reddit. Reddit had is going through some like hardcore shit right now because all the moderators are the same, politically leaning dipshits, and they no longer apply the rules and regulations that keep a site functioning properly. And when you don't have anyone who's doing their job, for example, YouTube, when your channel or gets a false copyright strike or some shit and they don't do anything, people start abusing the system. And then when that happens, users are just like, well, this has no value. I'm not going to stick around and sit here and just be, shat on when I'm putting all my time, money, effort, into making videos, trying to make a decent living for myself and entertain my audience. I can't do it because the people running this shit site won't let me. So they leave.
Right.
And the more people leave, the less variety there is, and eventually you're gonna be running into the same shithead on YouTube. Like if you open up a incognito tab, type in YouTube, I guarantee you, majority of what you're gonna see on there is you're not gonna see a single regular ass content creator. It's gonna be your fucking Jimmy Kimmel's, your NSNBC's, your Fox, your CNN's,
Saturday Night Live, and all of
I
that.
was actually about to. I was gonna interject, but I wanted you to finish. But that right there is what really actually grinds my gears the most. Is that not only do they post their videos, it's on the front page of YouTube all the time. One, and it floods the feed. And so constantly people that are making genuine fucking content get pushed aside because these big corporations took over YouTube's media platform. And basically you can't find your material anywhere because like that's what they want. They want to like constantly flood the feed. So that's all you see. You have no choice but to either click on it because you're curious about the topic, or you just shut YouTube off entirely because you're annoyed. And that's literally one of the two options that I've always been faced with when I click on YouTube. And that's why I don't even look at the home page anymore, because trending is exactly what you're saying. It's nothing but that. All your trending feeds, all the different tabs you can think of is nothing but politically correct shitheads, making the same old content day after day after day. And to me, that's not what YouTube was a representation of. YouTube was a platform for creators with real thought process, a real creative mind, somebody who is thinking outside the box to put their thoughts onto a platform and express themselves in a way that nobody else sees but that person until they release it to the world. That makes original, what is the word is authenticity. People back in the day used to look for YouTubers who had authenticity. Now it's whoever's got the most subscribers and the most views and Instagram likes and Twitter likes. If you're not on Twitter, you ain't the most popular motherfucker on the platform. And to me, that's trash.
Yeah, it is, because like I said, like the shit that's going on Reddit, the YouTube moderators, they're unhinged and they all think the exact same way. And if your content doesn't line up with their bullshit, it's like you have no chance. And it's really hard if you're just trying to be, you just want to do what you want to do, right? Gaming. Yeah. And same thing's happening in the gaming industry with how, cough cough, Last of Us turning into shit cough. And if you don't like it, you're labeled as a misogynist, a bigot, a xenophobe. You don't like gay people. I'm like, I don't care about none of that shit. I just want a decent game with a decent story that doesn't have any politically charged shit. And I guarantee you that this is gonna happen. Mark my fucking words. When that game comes out, it's gonna be right down the middle. The people who don't like it and the people who do like it. As a matter of fact, it's happening now. This guy, I don't know his name, but he had a whole video defending the game because, he was watching the trailer, do his little fake ass crying because, we love seeing fake shit. He's like, oh man, this game is so good. It's really pulling at my heartstrings. And then you got the other half of people who saw all the leaks and they're like, man, this game is bullshit. Why do they do what they done fucked up the story? Why does it sound like some wacky? Who running this shit? Neil Druckmann? What the hell is he doing? Oh man, he got ties to Anita Sarkeesian. You mean that bitch that complains about video games, doesn't like video games, but has made a living complaining? Like, what is going on?
All the people to represent women in gaming, Why the fuck Anita Sarkeesian was even put in that equation, I will never know. What about that cute Japanese girl that went on stage during, what was it, the Game Awards, and she was all giddy and happy that her game was being presented, and that was a representation of women in fucking gaming. She actually took pride in her work. She wasn't about that like bullshit, political bullshit. She wanted to put out a game that she knew and loved and put her heart and soul into, and you could see it on her face. She was cheesing like so hard, and I loved every minute of watching her like announce her game to the world. Like, that is, to me, what women in the gaming industry are supposed to be like. Not Anita Sarkeesian, who starts beef with a bunch of guys because she hates males. I'm like, bitch, you came from a dude's balls. First of all, like, if it wasn't for the dude inseminating your mama, you wouldn't be here today. So I don't know what the fuck she's on.
Exactly. And then not only that, because it's like, you know, she said, I'm this is one thing. Oh man, hold on, let me put this fucking controller down. It's like, this is the thing, it just blows my fucking mind. It's like, you come over here, you say yourself, this is an old video where she's like, yeah, I don't even like video games. Like, and I'm like, her reasons were like, you know, typical reasons of someone who doesn't like games, but you know, I mean, that's fair. You know, if it's not for you, it's not for you. It ain't like I'm gonna go out and pick a fight with somebody who doesn't give a shit or doesn't like games and be like, well, you should like them because they're blah blah blah. I'm like, well, if you like fucking fighting, then that's your thing. If you don't like, if gaming doesn't entertain you, fine, that's cool. But the issue with her was like, you know, I hate games. It's not, but you jump right into the community, into the industry, bring your horse shit, and then you're surprised that everyone hates you. You know,
in people's faces, and they don't want to hear that shit. They want their games. They want to enjoy their life. I mean, we're in a really terrible time as it is, and for people to still be trying to throw political bullshit down your throat every day of your life, it just makes you want to just disconnect completely. Just blank out from this.
But I want to say something real quick when it comes to this. It's like in so many ways, the best way for me to sum this up, and I know a lot of people are going to be in their feelings when I say this shit, but YouTube has turned vegan. All right, it's just like the simple fact that I eat fucking meat is a problem. So
I'm more carnivore.
Yeah. You know, and like when it comes to this situation with all of this stuff, definitely with Sarkeesian, she doesn't know half the shit that she's talking about. Let's just be realistic. She talked about the reason why she didn't like Legend of Zelda, because Link is he's not empowering the woman. I'm gonna be real. Okay, if she would have actually understand any of the Legend of Zelda series, okay, first it has Zelda's name in it. I'm sorry, but maybe she didn't know that Zelda was the fucking female and not the character you play with. But exactly. and I have to go in some more, man. Fuck this bitch. Anyway,
go ahead.
I don't understand. Like, if you did not know about Legend of Zelda and a majority of games, except the two where she was dead in, if you did not understand that, if it wasn't for Zelda leaving those little fucking breadcrumbs, like, I don't know, the master fucking sword, or how to get these upgrades that you need to survive against Ganondorf and Super Nintendo, Link wouldn't be alive. Like, Link would be dead starting off. It's because of her he was able to become the legend he was. That's what the whole...
Can I also put it in perspective here? One, and this is the only point I'm gonna make. The whole time that she arguing the point, in the back of my brain, I'm like, doesn't this bitch know that Zelda has a secret identity known as the Sheik?
Exactly. One of the
she's a badass
characters in the fucking Legend of Zelda game.
Honestly, one of the characters I play in Smash most of the time. Like, I love that character.
You know, and that's like one of the hurtful things when it comes to, you know, her talking. Because she'll talk about a game and then, you know, oh, well, you know, this game had to be made by men because it... Look, no one gives a fuck. All right? We enjoy the game. And a lot of people don't even, you know, see the same reasoning that she's talking about. But somehow dumbasses follow her, even though she has taken a lot of feminism money and has not honored her end of the deal. She has taken money from feminism, and yet she's still honored as the feminist of it. Because why? Motherfuckers don't want to look stupid.